Can a computer create and express creativity? Harold Conan's distinguished career in Britain as an abstract painter might seem an odd beginning for someone who became one of the pioneers of computer art. Yet Cohen's creativity and abstract thinking helped develop a coding language that allowed the computer program named Aaron the ability to create original art.
He asked himself the question, why should I make art when I can program a thing to make art that I will instruct? And so for the rest of his life, he worked on artificial art, computer generated. There's a lot of people doing computer generated crap, but nobody else has ever done anything as sophisticated as Aaron.
Cohen wondered, what makes an image evocative? What are minimum conditions under which a set of marks functions as an image? In other words, he wanted to know how many lines it takes to make a picture we can recognize. To answer these questions, he investigated children's drawings and ancient petroglyphs, looking for what he called their artness. Cohen moved to the United States as a visiting lecturer at the University of California, San Diego in 1968 and began collaborating with some scientists who were beginning to experiment with artificial intelligence, or AI. Cohen did not know how to make a computer artist, but like other great artists, he began experimenting. He learned how to program computers and eventually settled on a program called Lisp. Cohen wrote a code that allowed the computer to make a choice and think like an artist. This experimentation resulted in Aaron, a name chosen after the first letter of the alphabet, A. Aaron ended up being the only program Cohen worked on for the rest of his life.
It had basically a little device that had a pen and a piece of paper, and Aaron would make squiggles on the paper, and it would be just like a 2-year-old making squiggles. And then he would say, okay, this squiggle is pretty good. Let's remember that. And then someone would go on it.
After a while, Aaron was building up a collection of good squiggles. Cohen studied mechanical engineering to design a device to draw complex images from Aaron. People became fascinated by Cohen's machines. He wanted the fascination to be with the art generation, which was embedded in the codes of Aaron. The drawing machine was just a robot, but Aaron was the brain, or the artificial intelligence. Once he set the program running, Cohen removed himself from the operations altogether and let Aaron create the images. All images drawn on paper from Aaron were in black and white. Cohen often hand-painted some of his favorite images from Aaron. In 1989, Cohen thought, "It has taken me 20 years to teach Aaron to draw. How can I possibly teach it to color before I die?" Cohen quizzed himself and asked questions. How can I write a code to describe color choices? He described the desired outcome of the color to Aaron, and this shift in thinking worked. Every once in a while, there would be something extraordinarily unsettling and surprising in Aaron's paintings, like a purple person, as if Aaron was exploring possibilities of its own. Cohen was more interested in shapes, color, and abstractions, and decided to return to the kind of drawings he made in the 1960s.
Wouldn't you like to have a work by Aaron, a painting by Aaron, as part of the collection? And so I got in touch with Cohen, and I said, we'd like to buy a painting by Aaron. He says, I can do you one better. He says, I can give you the Aaron program, and it will make, stuff. I said, wow, that's fantastic. So I bought it for the museum. The video that he made for us has all of these strange wiggling things that come and go, and it reminded him of a primordial seascape. So he called it Before Utah, when Utah was covered by the primordial sea.
The Nora Eccles Harrison Museum of Art has on display Before Utah a version of Aaron, which consists of a video screen playing a series of amorphous shapes and lines, constantly shifting and changing, making literal the movement implied by action painting. Did Cohen succeed in creating an artificial intelligent artist? Is Aaron creative?
I think creativity is a relative term. Clearly the machine is being creative, the program is being creative to the degree that every time it does a drawing that nobody's ever seen before, right, including me. I don't think it's currently as creative as I am in writing the program. I think for a program to be fully creative, in a more complete sense creative, it has to be able to modify its own performance, and that's a very difficult problem.
While Aaron and various versions of Aaron continue to run and create original images, Cohen died in 2016. If what Aaron is making is not art, what is it exactly, and in what ways, other than its origin, does it differ from the real thing? If it's not thinking, what exactly is it doing?